The reason I decided to make this documentary is, I guess, to kind of get the word out there that people really are seeing things. I mean, I don't know if it's alien or our government or what, but people are witnessing these lights and craft. I mean, I have many people in my family that have seen these things, and I mean, their stories of what they've seen are just unbelievable. And ever since my sighting, it's always fascinated me, the whole UFO phenomenon. I've always been fascinated with it. It hasn't really drastically changed my life, but for some reason it's like I gotta know what's going on. There's something inside of me that's like, that has to know what we're seeing, what people are seeing.
I've been filming UFOs over Lake Erie for about 4.5 years now.
There's things that go on out there that we don't know about, that I'm sure are kept from us by our government.
Well, my take on that is that people see things that they don't necessarily understand or necessarily have a good explanation for.
And I looked at my husband, I said, what is it doing? And all of a sudden, it just was there, and it just went right up, and it was gone.
I've got such mind-blowing stuff on footage. I don't even film anything unless it's cooler than what I've already got.
Either he's flat out lying, or there's something that's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's not a star. It's 50 feet over your head and it looks like a house, or as big as a house.
I was always, I have to see it to believe it. Until I saw that, then, I believed it.
Well, it wasn't man-made. Yeah, it's from another being.
Believe, I don't know if I would say believe, but if I say I'm skeptical, skeptical implies doubt. So I would say I'm highly, highly doubtful.
It's just kind of hard to believe that we're the only ones really out there in the entire universe.
There's thousands of people who say they've seen something in the sky. I'm sure that there are some that are just wacky, or there's an explanation for it, but there's got to be something to it. When you have thousands of people saying they've seen something, I mean, come on, it's not everybody's lying.
This was back in the 70s. I would say 1977 or 1978. I was with my husband at the time. We were coming back from a reception about 2:30 in the morning on Cleveland Road in front of the Wright Beach area. And as we were driving, we were going towards Sandusky. My husband at the time told me to, he spotted something, and he told me to roll down the window, and I looked up, and just right above the telephone pole, we saw this round object, probably the size of a Taurus. I mean, it wasn't that big, but it was big enough, and it had lights all around it. And it was making a whistling sound. The whistling sound's what caught my attention. I said, that is not a helicopter.
In July of 1972, it was in the evening. It had to have been, I remember it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and Rick and I were coming back from Sandusky to Huron, and we were on the bypass, Route 2, and it was in between the Camp Road overpass and before you get off the Rye Beach Road exit, and up in the northeast part of the sky, and we had a big car, the huge windows, and we could see something up to the left of the car. And we both spotted it at the same time and knew instantly it wasn't an airplane or a helicopter, and talked amongst ourselves about, what is this thing?
It's been about 3 years ago. My wife and I were at a jewelry conference in Long Island, New York, and we were coming back from supper and going across, an 8-lane road down the middle of Long Island was what looked like a black balloon, only it was slowly coming down instead of, if you let go of a balloon, they drift off with the wind. Only this one was coming down. And needless to say, I'm in 8 lanes of traffic, so I'm kind of watching the road. My wife calls my attention to it, and I see it as kind of a round black circle. She is able to watch it continuously as it comes down across the road, and it's like a frisbee tumbling, and it goes where it's thin, it's invisible, it's round, so it's changing perspective, like it's kind of tumbling through space as it goes across the road.
Mostly what I witness is single balls of light that I would guesstimate about the size of a house, like in circumference, maybe about 30, 40 feet. I mean, this is just a guess because I don't. Actually, one did manifest right over my head, and it was about the size of like a small hot air balloon, like if you could picture how big that would be. So that's pretty much how big I think that they are, even when they're out there. And they look like Christmas ornaments. They look like a big ball of plasma that's just pulsating red, blue, gold, green. They're beautiful, really. And they're usually, they seem to be about 40 or 50 feet off the lake. And they move pretty slow usually, but some of them, I've got a couple that just actually take off. I can't keep up with them with the camera. So, but usually they're moving at a pretty slow pace, and they can kind of dim out and get bright again. And they actually look like they disappear while you're filming it like that. And it's they're really cool when you see it. But like I said, most of the time it's a single object. Sometimes they're in a double formation where there's 2 balls of light side by side, and that's a lot less that I've seen that. And even less than that, very few times there'll be 3 balls of light together into a triangular formation, like 1 ball of light in each corner of what would be a triangular craft or something that looks like